What does the customer expect of us? Hi, this is Jeff from McPhee's Gardening, Melbourne, Australia. Have you actually put yourself in the customer's shoes, looking back at us and how we perceive, how we look, how professional we are? What actions do we take? Are we reliable? Do we turn up on time, etc.? Look at yourself when you've got a tradesman that comes around to your place and the plumber said, look, I'll be around this afternoon. And come night time, he, as usual, hasn't turned up. So you ring up, mate, what's going on? Oh, listen, I'm sorry, I'm behind. I'll be there tomorrow. What, morning, afternoon? Oh, should be, I don't know, midday. So there's lost half a day. Now I'm going to probably have to take a whole day off waiting for this guy to come around. Now, when we're dealing with our gardening quotations and lawn mowing quotations, we're no different, are we? Because we have to provide that customer with a solution. Now, when the customer rings up, he doesn't care whether you're busy, he doesn't care what problems you've got outside of work. All they want is their problem solved. They don't care about any other customers, just what they want to be fixed. And you're the one that they're seeking. So you have to divide yourself up. Now, if you're in a position that you're so busy, well, you should make that fact known straight away. In other words, if they ring or if they text, the message should go, sorry, I'm booked out. I can't take on any more work. Please try somebody else. Now, in my particular case, I never do that because I'm always searching for the better customer. Always the grass is greener concept I've had over the years, but it's worked well for me. And I'll go into that shortly. In our business, from advertising to our business model, we've used three principles, and I call them one percenters, but they're probably more actually. It's being prompt, reliable, and professional. Now, easy words to say, easy words to write down, but you've actually got to prove it to your potential client and even your existing customers if you want to hang on to them. So if someone rings up and they ask for a particular thing, now they're going to ring up probably while you're busy, so you let it go to the message bank and you'll ring them back, or they might text you. Now, what I do is I always reply within the 1 to 2 hour time frame. If I can't take the call straight away, obviously if I'm mowing, I'm concentrating on a task, I'm talking to a client, I don't answer the phone in front of anyone. I'll go into the vehicle during the job and I'll ring them back. I won't leave it till the end of the day, and I won't leave it till the next day. I think it's rude because if someone rings, how frustrated you are when they don't ring you back. And two, well, you could be missing out on a really good job. So what my philosophy is I ring straight away in between jobs, and we then sort out the customer's requirements. Now, there's going to be two ways we're going to go here. One is the job is too far away, it doesn't suit me, it's not the type of customer I want. And this is why I have to ask some questions. So when they say that, look, I've got some hedging, I'll say, what particular area are in? Because I know that's the areas I target. I know that's the type of customer I want. B, has another contractor been doing, or has their husband doing it, or themselves? And they say, oh no, it's just a hedging job, no ladders. And I'll say, look, that sounds good. We can have a look at that. If, however, they say, oh, look, we've had a guy in and he used to use a really long, large ladder because the hedge is way above the house. Well, I don't do those type of jobs anymore. I don't do large hedges. But what I will do, I'll say, listen, I know that Joe from McRae's hedging services down the road, he's actually good. Suggest you try him. Have a Google his name, or I might have the number on me and I'll pass that number over. So I've solved that client's problem and then I'll move on. But if it's a job that I think this sounds good, well, let's go. So I'll say to the client, listen, I'm going to be there between 10 and 12 tomorrow. I'm not going to give a specific time. I'm not going to say I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock because if I'm there at 10:30, I'm late. But if I'm there between 10 and 12, I'm on time. So I'm demonstrating to that customer or that potential customer that I'm prompt. So that means that I am going to turn up in that time frame. If there's any changes, and I'll know in the morning if something happens, I'll ring or text that client and say, listen, I'm running late. I'll be there between 12 and 1 or 12 and 2. But I'll always keep them informed, always communicate, and then they'll feel good because they'll know at least I'm interested, and they'll, hopefully they'll think I'll turn up, which obviously I will. So when we turn up to the potential client, the quote that we're going to do, we've got to show or got to demonstrate how professional we are. Now, there's several things I've done over the years. Again, 1%ers is the ute or the van or the ute and trailer or whatever you've got is clean. Doesn't take much to wash the vehicles or the utes or the vans down once a week, so that when you go out and you roll up, you've got a nice clean vehicle. Doesn't have to be a brand new ute. An old jalopy is still good if it's a clean old jalopy. All my equipment, once a week, I'll spray them down with degreaser and wash them down and rub some WD-40 over them so that they look clean. Because the customer actually looks, and when you turn up, they look out the window and go, he's well presented. My personal attire, I'll be branded. Now, if you're not branded, that's not the end of the world. I suggest you do, because I think that does help a bit. And make sure that you're relatively clean. You're not going to be spot on because you've been gardening. If it's been a hot day and you've got mud from head to toe, I'll change my t-shirt. I'll change my top, because I always carry a spare set of clothes in the ute. I think that's important. So when you've made contact with a client, they've seen that you're prompt because you've rolled up. They've seen you're professional because you look the part. So you're going to ask, first off, you're going to listen to what they want. Listen. Then you're going to ask questions. You may provide advice. So you may take the quote away, or you may give them a figure there and then because you're quite confident of how much it's going to be. So the client says, yes, I'm fine with that. So you'll put down a couple of things. You'll say, okay, I can do that next Friday. Around about midday, I could be there. And I say, oh, that's great. Second thing is I'll lay some terms and conditions down. That is, how we're paying, EFT, like electronic transfer, or we can pay cash, cheque, which cheques are going out of fashion in our country at the moment, so that'll be the end of the series soon. But EFT is a really great way. You don't have to go to the bank, don't have to put money in, it's all transferred. So you've established that relationship that you're going to be paid when the job's finished. If it's a job where it requires materials, you may take a deposit. But I will make another video one day about setting up terms and conditions for jobs. That's another subject on its own. So once that's been established, we'll go away and we'll go to the customer's place on that Friday about midday, and we've done the job. So we've demonstrated to that client that we're reliable. So when the job's finished, that person's going to say to their friends, Jeff was prompt because he turned up on time, he was reliable, he got through the job, and he promised everything he did, and he was professional, looked the part, done a fantastic job, we're all happy. So a couple little points there. On the subject of having too many customers, as I mentioned before, you can fall in the trap of being full up, and I've done this over the years, full up, and therefore you haven't got any room to move and you just go along as it is. There's always a grass is greener concept is my philosophy. Now, a few years ago, I come across commercial premises, which is really, really good. It was high end, a lot of ride-on work, and paid very well. Now, I knew if I could get this job, I would get others in the area because they'll see my work and the word will get around that I'm prompt, reliable, and professional. But of course, my existing customers, and some of them are very loyal customers, I'm going to have to let go. Now, some people say, oh, look, I'll wait till the end of the year or I'll sort of don't want to let them down. I haven't got time for that. I've got to take this new, if I get this commercial job, which I did, I had to act immediately to offload the extra work that I'm going to have, which I couldn't really do. So if I'm not in a position of putting on employees, which I didn't want to do, I rang up, and I mentioned in my previous video about networking with other contractors. I rang up a contractor that I know well. I know his work is good. I said, listen, mate, are you interested in another 8 jobs? Yeah, sure, how much? No, I don't want any money, but I want you to look after them and don't let them down, which I knew he wouldn't. So then once I knew he was okay with that, I'd go to my existing clients and say, listen, I'm sorry, I've got an opportunity to take on some commercial work, which I really want to do. And unfortunately, I won't be able to service your premises anymore. But I'm not going to let you down. I've got a guy that he has been doing in the game a very long time, does a very good job. In fact, he probably does a better job than I do. And he's really good to get on with. And they said, oh, that's fantastic. That's great. I've never had any problem with that. And what I'll do is I'll take the guy around, I'll introduce him to those customers so that I've handed them off in a professional way. Rather than just dump them, I've handed them off. So I've treated them with respect. They've treated me with respect by allowing me to move on, and everybody's happy. And even the guy down the road, he's been in the game for a while, looking for a few extra clients, well, he's happy as well. So all's good going around. So the customer's expectation of us is quite simple. They just want their work done. They want us to rock up and to be prompt, reliable and professional, and they're happy. All right, that's my lot for today. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay, thank you. Bye.